This is a project 4b on page number 56. We will be talking about the if function. So the if function has three components or three parameters. One is the test, something called logical test, and then the second parameter will be what will be the return value if the logical test turned out to be true. And the third parameter or element would be what if the logical test turned out to be false. So in plain English sentence, you could say, if something is true, then do ABC, else do XYZ. So that's how the if function is constructed. So let's take a look at it. So first, we are going to calculate, before we do the if function, we are going to calculate the average. So at the new employee orientation, they gave 3 quizzes, quiz 1, 2, 3, to each individual new employee. So let's calculate the average by selecting E16 and then go over to the AutoSum button, but not instead of clicking on the AutoSum, and then click on the downward arrow button here and then click on average, and then you will see marching ants going around those 3 cells for Angelo, and the formula says average B16 through D16, and you can see a little bit better here as you click on the formula bar. And once you can confirm that's correct, then hit the enter key and then do the autofill. Just click back that cell E16 and then use the fill handler. Just move your point to the bottom right corner. When it becomes solid cross, click and hold it down and let go of your button. It copies the formula to the rest of the column. Okay, now this is where we are going to enter the if function. So the scenario is that if the average of those 3, here are 3 scores and that's the average, if the average score is greater than 79, so that's, I guess that's a B minus, then they say pass. But if the average score is below or not equal to 79, then it'll show fail. And perhaps if you fail it, then perhaps you can retake them until you pass. So let's go to F16 and then go to the formulas tab and then click on financial group, and we are going to scroll down. Okay, wait a minute, it's not financial, is it? It is logical, and then there's a if. Click if and let's take a look at it. So logical test. So logical test again have some kind of comparison. So greater than or less than or equal or greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. Basically the same, the things that I showed you in project 4A. So let's go ahead and take a look at it here. So if average score is greater than 79, and then what do we do? Okay, so They click on the next box, the value if true. So what do we give if this logical test turned out to be true? Well, we will say pass. And then click next button, and then notice that Excel automatically added this quotation marks around that word pass, because in Excel formula you can use, for example, numbers, any numbers, and you can use cell references, and you can use mathematical operators or logical operators. You can use those, but you cannot use just random letters or words unless you put the quotation marks. So that way Excel knows that you are putting some kind of bunch of letters and words. In computer science we call it string. So string of letters and digits and things like that. So anyway, in any event, just put the quotation marks. Make sure that quotation marks comes on. Otherwise, you have to do it. And if you were to enter the formula by hand without using this dialog box, yes, you are the one who have to put the quotation marks. Anyway, let's come back to what if the logical test turned out to be false. What do we do? Well, the return value for that would be fail or not pass. Well, we'll just say loud and clear fail. Alright, then as you move down or click on each cell, you'll notice that there's a little brief explanation of what they are for. But if you need more information, of course you can click on help on this function. And in fact, I strongly recommend you to go ahead and read this, because it explains the syntax, basic structure, and some hints, and then even some examples. So you can play with these examples, not just textbook, but these examples, so you get to learn more about this function. Okay, back to the dialog box and go ahead and click on OK. And let's see, how did Angela do? Well, 78. So that's not quite higher than 79, so therefore you fail. So let's do the autofill, the rest of the column, and see Cunningham passed, Elliott passed, Kennedy passed. Well, Kennedy got 98. That's quite a flying score. And let's come down to Lipscomb, and failed because 67. Okay, so as you can see, 5, 6 records or employees or whatever you have, it's no big deal, but you can easily imagine this could be perhaps dozens or even hundreds or even thousands of rows. You could go all the way down, and then having this kind of function and then do the autofill, you can see the result quite fast and easily. And also, as they retake the test, let's say Angelo retook the test and the second one was, let's say, 88, and then the score the average score just went up to 82%, so gets the passing mark. So you can see the changes in the data will automatically get reflected in the formula using the function, the if function. Okay, let's take a look at the third paragraph table here. All right, the sales department has products, and these are the prices. And then they say, okay, if somebody buys an expensive item such as that or that or that, they will give discount. Okay, so big customer, big purchase, discount. So first they need to figure it out whether they will qualify, these products will qualify for that discount, and then you can determine what percentage of discount would they get. Okay, so let's take a look at discount, whether they will get discount or not. Okay, so this time let's go ahead and click on the insert function, and if function is right there because we have just recently used, and also it is fairly common function, so usually they are near the top. If not, you can change the category, or you can type, let's say, if function, and then you should see, you can just type if, you don't have to type function. Anyway, you'll see if function from the choice, and here's a little description of it, and then go ahead and click on OK. Again, we're going to do the logical test, and the logical test would be if the price is greater than, let's say, $599, and then if that's true, then what do? We'll say yes. If not, we'll say no, and click on OK. So the first item is over $599, so it gets yes. All right, so let's come down here and do the autofill all the way. We have some yeses and some no's. So for example, let's take a look at that item. No, that's only $225. What about that one? Yes, that's over to $599. All right, so let's say if we have some items over $599, then we need to determine what percentage of discount each item should get. Well, let's use the function, if function again. So this time we are going to just type it manually. So we're going to put the equal sign, because that's how we start the formula, and then type in if, and then you will see little this drop down menu. So we are going to use the if function, not if error. So then there's a little description of what if function is, and then open parenthesis, and then the first parameter is something called logical test. What was it? Well, if this, meaning that it contains the formula, but the output or outcome or what it displays is the word yes. So if that cell shows open quotation mark, uppercase y, lowercase e, lowercase s, and closed quotation mark. So basically, if C26 is equal to yes, surrounded with quotation marks, then that's comma. What's the value to return if that's true? Well, we'll say it's going to be open quotation mark 5%, closed quotation mark, and then comma. So what if that is not true? It's not yes. Then you say open quotation mark, well, 0%. So notice that I put the quotation marks around 5% and 0%. So these are not numbers. These are characters. meaning that you cannot use that for calculation. I just wanted to kind of put that out. You will see that later chapters that, for example, if you want to calculate something, you cannot calculate with words. And if you put any digit or numeric value with the quotation marks around it, then that numeric value turns into characters, like letters, not numbers. Okay, anyway, so hit the enter key, and yeah, the first one gets 5%, and let's autofill that. And if they match, yes, 5%, no, 0%. Yes, 5%, no, 0%. So that's correct. So let's go ahead and save this, and that is it for project 4.